Good evening, everybody. You're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Monday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. A big show. Our featured story, we are once again talking about the Epstein files. Major new disclosures. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of news about these files in the coming days and weeks. And the big story today, if you haven't heard, it actually just broke, I think, minutes ago, a couple hours ago. But we have now learned that the Jewish billionaire Les Wexner, billionaire owner of Victoria's Secret, L Brands, other companies out of Ohio, has been named by the Department of Justice as an accomplice, an unnamed accomplice to Jeffrey Epstein. And this is a part of the files that was redacted when the files were released a couple weeks ago. But after this particular document came out, heavily redacted, the DOJ has decided to release the information. And this is part of actually up to 6 unnamed accomplices that the DOJ talks about in the files that could be charged, but their names are redacted.
Hey,
so our news for today is that the representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, Republican and Democrat respectively, they are pushing the DOJ to name those people, and if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. And if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. And if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. And if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. And if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. And if the DOJ doesn't do it, they may use the floor to name those people. To name these people themselves, because on the floor of the House they are privileged to say whatever they'd like without civil or criminal liability, so they'll be able to do it. So we'll talk about this. It's sort of interesting. There's been a little bit of a development on those files. Last week, there is, I suppose it's a concession from the Justice Department. They say that congressmen will be able to view the files fully unredacted, but in a highly controlled setting. They have to give advance notice up to 24 hours. They're not allowed to record anything, photograph anything. They need to make an appointment. But we might be able to get some more information, answer some questions. As I said last week, the file dump that we have really creates more questions than answers. And the way we can do that is through our congressman. So we'll talk all about that tonight. And I think that actually fits perfectly with what I've been saying about the files. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. That'll be our big story. If we have time, we're going to talk about these negotiations with Iran, which took place on Friday in the capital of Oman. And that's a very interesting story. I don't know if I'll get to it tonight because there's really so much to say. And I might need to just save it for tomorrow. There's been a few new developments. We had this big negotiation on Friday, as you know, and this was widely viewed as a take it or leave it, all or nothing, sudden death round of negotiations, where the United States presented a list of demands, and Iran was given the option either to totally capitulate or there's going to be a war. Now, both sides say that the talks were productive. The Iranian president said the talks were good. The White House says talks were good. They say Iran wants a deal. What is different this time, different from last year, is that now you have the intercession of 6 Arab countries, 6 Muslim countries that are really pushing for a deal. And they are Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, and perhaps the United Arab Emirates. Oman is also present and pushing for a deal. Now Israel's getting a little bit worried because the talks went well on Friday, and there's a huge push now, more than ever, for many of America's traditional allies in the Middle East to make this deal happen. So Israel is lobbying the United States in turn not to make a deal. To that end, the Prime Minister of Israel is coming back to America, yes, again, for the 6th time since Trump was inaugurated last year, the 6th meeting. The previous one was on December 29th in Mar-a-Lago. Netanyahu is coming back to Washington on Wednesday for a closed-door working meeting, no media, and his goal is to lobby the president not to make a deal and to insist that in these negotiations that Trump push the issue of ballistic missiles and proxies, mostly ballistic missiles. Now, with regard to Iran, Iran's conditions are that there can be not even a discussion of missiles or proxies. They only want to negotiate on the nuclear file, and to the extent that the talks are going well, it seems that both sides continue to persist in their red line. Neither side has come down, and Iran insists that they keep nuclear enrichment. The United States insists that they cannot have it. Iran will not relinquish its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. For the United States, this is a precondition that they give it up. So there are some things that are different about these negotiations. Some things are exactly the same. Just like before, you have the same positions, irreconcilable, intractable, Israel playing the role of saboteur, U.S. pointing the guns at Iran, force package, forward deployed, Iran stalling, trying to buy time. However, unlike the last time, you do have all these countries trying to make it happen. So, like I said, I don't know that we'll get to it tonight. We might save it for tomorrow because there's really a lot of ground to cover there. But the big news is going to come on Wednesday when we see the results of this meeting. But it's all very interesting. So, like I said, if we have time, we'll get to it. If not, we'll save it for tomorrow. But it's going to be a good show. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. Remember to check out our merch store, Fuentes.store. Get your USA quarter zips. It's so funny. Excuse me. Everybody's trying to get me to stop selling these quarter zips. I'm never going to back down on this. People are telling me, why is he doing this? Why are you selling the quarter zip? People are telling me to stop. I will never stop. Fuentes.store, they're sharp. Look. They look great. And I wear mine all the time. But we also have t-shirts, hoodies. We have the America First hats. We have this hat. We also have the GIA hat. This is kind of becoming like my new favorite. The Groyper Intelligence Agency. People always ask me if I'm a Fed. I'm in the GIA, Groyper Intelligence Agency. Invisible Empire. We're everywhere. So we have hats, lots of great products, everything that you like. Subscribe to our website if you want to support the show, AmericaFirst.plus. It's $15 a month. We have a brand new subscription site, better than Rumble, some say. And you get access to every episode of the show. It's like almost 2,000 episodes. Our catalog going back 10 years. Every speech, interview, commentary stream, gaming stream, debate, it's all there in one place, searchable, and it's a great website. We also have, for $100 a month, you get to be in a group chat with me, where I'm just chopping it up all day, hanging out. I have no life. I have no social life, so I'm just in there hanging out with you people. And it's kind of a deal, $100 a month to talk to me. I'm a pretty famous guy. That's not a lot of money to be able to just hang out. It's actually, people were complaining when I released it, it's actually a good deal. That's AmericaFirst.plus. Okay. With that being said, we have to talk about this Super Bowl halftime show. There's so much to talk about. The greatest Super Bowl halftime show of the 21st century. I thought it was great. I understood every word. I don't know what everybody was complaining about. People said, I can't understand a word of the Super Bowl halftime show. This is ours. This is America. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I understood every word he said. I understood it perfectly. People were saying it's un-American. I'm like, this looks exactly like the neighborhood I grew up in. I was like, this is super relatable. The sugar cane, the nail tech, the salsa dancing. I was like, that looks like where I'm from. I was like, those look like my parents. Those look like mi familia. That's like all my cousins. I think I recognized a few people there. I thought it was great. That was the kind of culture I grew up with. That was kind of the rhythm of where I grew up in Mexico City. And they look like my people, talk like my people. I was like, finally I feel included. No, I'm joking, of course. Just rage base. You guys are idiots. You guys are idiots, all right? It's just a little rage bait. Hey, just jokes. Relax. Everyone's going to be okay. What do you need, a safe space? Here. We'll rent an overflow space, and, we'll hang up some red, white, and blue streamers, and we'll put some country music on, okay? We'll do a little counter-programming, okay? Would that make you feel better? Do you need a little safe space? This song is in Spanish. This isn't English, this is Spanish. Hey, it's okay. We have some counter-programming. We rented an overflow room. We're going to play some country music. There, it's all right. It's going to be fine. We'll have some ranch dressing. We'll have some Domino's pizza. It's going to be fine. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing. Guys, since when did our side become like this? Maybe we've always been like this and I just never saw it. Okay, here's my unironic take about that. I'm joking around a little bit. Here's my unironic take. So we have to talk about a couple of things. We have to talk about the halftime show. We can't talk about it without also discussing the Kid Rock thing that was going on somewhere else. What the fuck was that? I mean, if that's the best we have to offer, honestly, I'm switching sides. If that's, seriously, they said this is the all-American halftime show, God, family, and God. It's like, okay, if that's the all-American halftime show, I don't know, guys. We're losing them. You know, we got to come up with something better, because that was a tough watch. If it is a requirement to pretend to like that, to be like a patriot, like, I can't do it. I'm just telling you up front. I'm going to be honest with you. Full disclosure, I can't do it. I think I'd rather kill myself than pretend to like that. So you're telling me we're in the Super Bowl party with the normies, with the hoes, with the chuds and the faggots. We're at the Super Bowl watch party. We're having our taquitos. We're having our wings, pizza, watching the big game. Everybody's having a good time. You're telling me we have to turn off the TV, or we have to switch the input. We have to go to the Rumble app and watch some AI ad about, like, alternative medicine. And then we have to watch Kid Rock and this, like, generic country music. And we have to pretend to like this. We have to all be like, this is really good. She's really good. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It sucks. And, not for nothing, didn't we do this for the RNC? Isn't this just like our token celebrity? Didn't Kid Rock play the RNC? It's just like a freak show. It's like Amber Rose was there last year 2 years ago at the RNC. Kid Rock. And I'm watching the show. I actually watch it this afternoon, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like maybe a section of what we're about that is kind of going away, and maybe there's no bringing it back. I don't know. Is there anything kind of worth hanging on to there? It's kind of a rough thing. And I said this on Telegram, and it was a little controversial, but let's be honest. The Bad Bunny halftime show, let's be perfectly honest, it wasn't a militantly woke show. It just wasn't. The way that conservatives were talking about it, I thought it was going to be Drag Queen Story Hour. The way that conservatives were fear-mongering and creating this anxiety about this halftime show, they're like, it's going to be an anti-ICE, anti-Trump, they're going to burn the American flag, he's going to be cross-dressing. It's not what it was. And let's take a step back and not look at it through the lens of being a chud that is obsessed with politics. Let's take a step back and look at it through the eyes of a normie. It's like a Latino-themed show. It's like a different theme. And yeah, it's in Spanish, got it. And yeah, it's very Puerto Rican, it's very Latin. But if I'm a normie and I'm watching this, it's basically just an inoffensive, Latin-themed show, and it's not really that political. Obviously, there's a political subtext, and we can get into that. The significance of it is not lost on anybody. That in the middle of this ICE thing, in the middle of the mass deportations and the phenomenon of ICE removals, which heavily target Hispanics, the significance is not lost on anybody that you have this celebration of Latin America, and it's in Spanish, and we know this artist's politics. This Bad Bunny character, I don't think any white Americans know who he is, listen to him. This is an artist for Latin Americans in the United States, outside the United States, and so to have this guy. And also, we know his politics in particular. He said, fuck ICE at the Grammys and all that. And then at the end, he comes out with all the different flags from Latin America. Love triumphs over hate. Of course, there is a subtext. I understand that. But if you step outside of yourself as a chud that, like I said, you're obsessed with politics, and you go into the big social outing of the year, the Super Bowl watch party, and you can't stop thinking about politics and Trump and, this kind of stuff. If you're a normie and you're watching it, it's basically inoffensive. It's not explicitly political. It's implicitly political. It's not actually antagonistic. I didn't feel, and I say this as a right-wing white American, as really a far-right white nationalist, whatever you want to say, I did not feel antagonized by the show. I didn't feel like the show was taunting me. I didn't feel like it was antagonizing me. I didn't feel that it was defiant. I didn't feel like it was militant or anti-American. I think that it was actually, and I say this from the point of view of what it is propositionally, it's positive. And I don't mean by that it's good. I mean that it was a positive message. And the message was the U.S. and Canada and all the countries of the Americas were celebrating all the people. And so whereas maybe different expressions of wokeism in the past were very negative, it was about saying fuck white people, fuck America, and conservatives and Christians, and it was about giving them the middle finger and deliberately taunting them and antagonizing them and reveling in how antagonistic they were being. It was almost like the mirror image of that, and rather it was celebrating the diversity of the Latin Americans. And it was a propositionally positive message. And arguably, there was even, you could say, an olive branch saying God bless America. Arguably, that's a political thing in itself, but waving the U.S. flag, throwing that in there, not having it loaded up with degeneracy, not having it completely loaded up with, LGBT type stuff or feminist stuff. You could argue that's something like an olive branch. In a way, it's inclusive towards chuds. Like a normie who is not aligned, or a chud could actually watch it and plausibly not feel like they're being attacked. Now, why do I point this out? A lot of people are not going to like me saying this because people are going to say, what are you talking about? It's in Spanish. It's cultural imperialism. They are brown and they're speaking Spanish and that's anti-white, etc., etc. And I get all that. Here's the reason why I'm saying this. We have to reconcile and come to terms with the fact that the left is a different animal today than it was 5 years ago. Something changed 5 years ago. The culture began to shift. And I think it started around 2021. After Joe Biden was inaugurated, and this is in the middle of the pandemic, and it's after BLM and the riots, and you have the Ukraine war, which starts a year later in 2022. You have a lot of criticism of critical race theory. It's right around this time that I think the culture fully shifted or began to shift. And it began to shift because people saw the contradictions inherent in wokeism. And what were those contradictions? So they had everybody posting the black square, Black Lives Matter, BLM, he can't breathe. But then at the same time, everybody saw the riots and the summer of love and the crime. And they saw what abolishing the police looks like. They also saw a lot of anti-white hatred. And so people started to say, wait a second. To the extent that a normie believes in wokeism, which is equality and anti-racism and kumbaya and all this, tolerance, pluralism, people said this doesn't really work. Because on the one hand, we are saying equality and tolerance and this sort of thing, I can't breathe. At the same time, in effect, it is anti-white and it's crime. And it's actually just making everybody out to be a hypocrite and making everybody out to look stupid. Here everybody was sympathetic, raising the fist, taking the knee, posting the square. And what did these black people do? They then burned down the city. And actually, the BLM organization was stealing from everybody. Not only did they burn down the city, but they actually burned down their own city. So on the one hand, you're arguing that we need a better quality of life for black people. How do we do that? Let's destroy all the infrastructure. I'm not saying that. I think normies thought this. These were powerful arguments for normies. They said, so BLM is corrupt. They said abolishing the police leads to crime. It seems like an excuse actually for crime. And so much of it is just anti-white. And we saw that with critical race theory. People got sick of the COVID lockdowns. They saw that Democrat politicians were having dinner in restaurants while they were forcing everybody to mask. They saw the lunacy of the double maskers, the fake science. They found out many of the conspiracies were true. Then with Ukraine, people saw that we're raising the flag for democracy and liberalism, but you're putting all this money behind a totally corrupt government. They don't hold elections. So there was sort of this cultural moment in 2021 and 2022, I think, when people became disenchanted and disillusioned with woke, left-wing liberal hegemony. They saw what we saw years before, what many of the disaffected young white men saw in 2016 with the first Trump election, in 2017 and 2018. All of this futurist female, anti-white, global citizen type stuff that we saw then, I think the normies caught up about 5 or 6 years later. And they saw the censorship, the foreign wars, the lockdowns, the BLM crap, the anti-whiteness, and I think slowly but surely people started to turn against it. Now, the left has adapted. And I think you're starting to see what I would call a post-woke leftism. And they have sort of synthesized the critiques of wokeism. And you see this in the rise of dark woke and the dirtbag left and these guys like Cumtown, where they're able to say racial slurs in an ironic way. And you got guys like Shane Gillis. I actually consider Shane Gillis to be like a post-woke left-wing comedian, where they can present as a chud, they can present as maybe culturally, racially insensitive, in reality holding liberal politics. And maybe he's a bad example, maybe he's not a Democrat, but he shows how it's possible to be still liberal, still maybe holding a woke politics, but not with that overbearing, over-the-top woke demeanor, the kind of censorship and blue hair triggered SJW type stuff from the years before. I also think about Kamala Harris's election. Now, Kamala, she was the vice president. There was a machine that propelled her into the nomination after Biden stepped down. But when she picked a vice president, she picked Tim Walz as basically an olive branch to white people. They said, we need a white football coach from Minnesota to get white men on board. They started selling a camouflage hat. What do you think that was? That was their version of a MAGA hat. Think about it. In 2016, they said the MAGA hat is a swastika. In 2024, they had their own version of it. Why? It was the same purpose. The MAGA hat is a trucker hat. It was supposed to say, we are the white working class. We are truckers. We are welders, plumbers. What was the camo hat? It was a hunter's hat. It was supposed to say, yes, Democrats can be hunters and own guns and coach football and fix a pickup truck. It was a self-conscious outreach to white men. You had white dudes for Kamala. In 2016, they were practically saying, don't vote for us. In 2016 and 2020, they were practically saying, fuck white men, we hate white men, don't vote for us, don't identify as white, it's shameful. In 24, they said, no, we're white dudes for Kamala. We're white, we're men, and we're voting Democrat. And don't get me wrong, yes, that was very, gay-coded, and it was for faggots and pussies. But there was this, clearly there's a shift happening. And what would you say the shift is? They have integrated this into their worldview. And they've sort of taken MAGA, which is an appeal to the white working class, and you could say it's an authenticity. It's a level of performative vulgarity. I think of J.D. Vance, who works in swear words into his speeches. Everything is, I was talking to some white dude, and we did some normal shit. Like, it's incorporating this sort of thing into the repertoire. And so the Democrats and the left are sort of taking multiculturalism. They're taking left-wing economic populism, which is this anti-millionaire and billionaire thing, anti-capitalist thing. They're taking their left-wing program and they're integrating into it the MAGA hat. They're integrating into it maybe a looser speech code. They're not going to freak out about slurs. And they're integrating into it an acceptance of white men. We're not going to beat the shit out of white men explicitly anymore. They're integrating these things in. And I think that we have to deal with the fact that if the left stops being militantly anti-white, they actually become formidable again. In a word, if the left stops being militantly, explicitly, aggressively anti-white, in other words, if they sort of live up to their own values, they start being formidable again. Because there's a lot of people out there. I think about guys like Dan Bilzerian, who's a friend of mine. And Dan Bilzerian, I mean, he's probably as right-wing as it gets. He's got, like, libertarian politics. But if a Democrat in the future, like a Ryan Grimm or a Max Blumenthal or a Glenn Greenwald, that sort of person steps up and says, you know, I'm kind of like a libertarian on guns. And I'm kind of a libertarian on social issues. I think that's a culture war. But I'm left-wing on economics. I want to eat the rich. And I'm a non-interventionist on foreign policy. And I'm Israel critical. And I don't hate white men, but I'm just sort of tolerant of the diversity in the country. A Democrat with that kind of program can win a guy like Dan Bilzerian. Can win a guy like Joe Rogan. Can win a guy like, you know, maybe many of the people that were watching that halftime show. And I think that it would be a mistake for the right wing to run the same playbook in 2026 that they did in 2016. This kind of Matt Walsh, grumpy, spiteful thing, it's not going to work. Because I watched the Super Bowl halftime show from the point of view of a normie, and you know what I thought? I thought it was fun. I thought it was lighthearted. I thought it was fun. I thought it was catchy, good beat. It was just fun. It wasn't actually overtly offensive. It wasn't an LGBT nightmare. It wasn't a, you know, if anything, the Kendrick Lamar show was more woke. The Kendrick Lamar show is, of course, they got Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam, and it's a whole thing about racism. If anything, every black performance is way more woke, defiant, anti-American, aggressive, sort of challenging white people. This was not like that. And what did we see in the Turning Point All-American halftime show? If anything, it was self-ghettoizing. It was taking our ball and going home. Everybody's enjoying the Super Bowl. 135 million people are enjoying the big game and the Latin halftime show. And whatever. And then you have all these conservatives that took their ball and went home. Turning Point USA, this like political group, puts on some other show with Kid Rock. And what's even the point other than to say, you know, well, we're just protesting all of that? Why? Because it's in Spanish? And by the way, it's a totally contradictory message. The Heritage Foundation had a Super Bowl ad where they have like a Jewish family and a black family and an Hispanic family and an Asian family and a white family all being Christian eating at dinner. And so it's like, what's the Republican message? It's like, well, we're not white nationalist and we're not white identitarian. We're inclusive. but you can't speak Spanish. And so it just takes us to a place where the white right, the kind of white Republican response, actually comes across as being overly political, bitter, resentful, spiteful, and just kind of sad and depressing. And I watched, on the other hand, the All-American halftime show from Turning Point, and it's all country. It's all like generic country music. There isn't one star out of the whole group. And the lyrics are all super political. The lyrics are all like, I hate trannies. And it's like, can't we make a song without it being about the culture war? You know, if you translate some of the Bad Bunny songs, they're about like taking pictures with your friends at a party. Then you get these country music songs and they're like, I can't be country no more because I'm getting canceled by the woke mob. Like, that's the song. The song is like some old guy in a leather jacket with a fucking hair transplant. And the lyrics are like, I can't be country no more because I'm getting canceled for saying boys can't be girls. And it's like, can I watch the fucking halftime show concert without a guy with a t-shirt that says "Based" talking about trannies in the school? Like, really?
Should be straightforward.
Those are the lyrics. The lyrics are super political, and they're just sad. That was one of the songs. The song was like, we're getting bullied by the left because we just want to cut the grass and go to work. And the left is picking on us. And it's like loser festival. Fucking loser festival. And say what you want about the Bad Bunny thing, it feels like triumphant. They're celebrating their culture. They have actually an expansive, inspiring vision, objectively speaking. The photo is, love is more powerful than hate. That is an asinine thing to say. It contains nothing. There's no content. But it is something that is, you could say, is emotive, like it's sentimental. And this inclusive, expansive idea of, hey, all Americas are part of this thing, like that's actually uplifting in an objective way. Then you go to Turning Point Fest and it's like, oh, we can't be who we are because the left is picking on us. Oh, we're being oppressed because the left is mad. They're canceling us for saying men can't be women. One is so hyper-political and uninspired and sad and weak and basically just like a bitch fest. And the other is like, no, we are the world. Like, our message isn't even political. Our message is just the way things are. And so I said it on Telegram, this is my honest prognosis. If we embrace that, whatever that was, the Kid Rock halftime show, we're cooked. It's just over. Okay, Kid Rock sucks. Nobody under the age of 40 knows a single Kid Rock song. Nobody is listening to Kid Rock. And anybody that is watching that is pretending to like it because they're spitefully sitting out and self-ghettoizing away from the real halftime show. And honestly, pretending to be offended. It's literally fake outrage, self-ghettoizing, being overly political, pretending to like the things because of the values they purport to have. In other words, we have become the kind of far left in a certain sense. It's the same kind of behavior that I think alienated the normies from the left 10 years ago. So I thought it was a big L. I was watching that and just felt like depressed. I'm watching this show and I'm like, it's boring. The costumes suck. The production sucks. The songs suck. The lyrics are weird. The acts are weird. I'm like, if this is the best we have to offer, I think everybody's going to go with Latino futurism. If the white right, if the best we have to offer is the sad, dying gasp of white culture, it's like some white trash country hip-hop artist from Detroit from the 90s. If that's the best we have to offer, people are going with liberal hegemony. And if liberal hegemony is not giving a middle finger in their face, people are going to go with it. You know, in other words, white people are going to feel better being included in liberal hegemony and being included in Hollywood and included in the Super Bowl and included in the Grammys. As long as white people feel like they're not actually being, like, deliberately offended and oppressed, they're going to prefer that. So we need to come up with something different. The kind of Matt Walsh grumbling about the halftime show every year like it's the end of the world. It's just not attractive. It doesn't attract. So you can take that and you can do whatever you want with that. You can say that, oh, I'm only saying that because I'm Mexican and I'm, whatever. You can cope, but that's the truth. And I'll tell you something about Donald Trump. The reason that Donald Trump was so successful is because that he understood this. In 2016, we had come off after this string of defeats. It was Mitt Romney, John McCain. Who were the contenders? It's people like John Huntsman, Ted Cruz. Our bench sucked. And the reason that Trump was able to electrify the movement is because he came from New York. Okay? He didn't come from the Country Music Awards, no offense. He came from New York City, an actual, real, respectable, world-class city. And he came from Hollywood, and he was famous and a billionaire. And he talked like a celebrity, and he looked like a celebrity, and he had aura like a celebrity. And for young people like myself, and for young tech guys, and young extremely online guys, and trolls, and libertarians, the reason that we were enamored with Trump is because he was progressive, forward-thinking, sexy, exciting. Yes, there was sex appeal. Why? Because he has a supermodel wife. Because he has a skyscraper with his name on it that's made out of gold. Because he has a fucking plane with his name on it. Because he has a TV show. Because he's been in Hollywood movies. Because he's famous. Okay? And that is what was exciting. It was this idea that we were not dorky losers. That the Republican Party was bigger than these, like, really old people that show up to every Republican thing for the past 30 years. That is why people like Trump. It was that vision, make America great again. And even the rhetoric, this, like, fiery, fresh rhetoric about nationalism and globalism, it was edgy, futuristic, forward-thinking. And to the extent that we have lost that cultural cachet, it's because we forgot that secret ingredient. We forgot that that is what was behind the success. And you think about where we are now compared to where we are a year ago. A lot of left-wing people are taunting us. Arguably a year ago, we had the culture. And it took us 12 months to lose it. A year ago, the right wing was ascendant, and to be a Democrat felt like to be not cool, felt like to be a loser. We had the comedians, the podcast bros, the live streamers, the celebrities. We had it. And ostensibly we, meaning the broader right wing, obviously I didn't vote for Trump, but it was like the right wing had the initiative. Here we are a year later, totally lost it. And I don't think that we're going to get it back by doubling down on Turning Point and Kid Rock and this kind of crap. It's embarrassing. That's my reality check. That's my reality check about the halftime show. I liked it. And unironically, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good pageantry. I like shows. You know that about me. I like shows. I like the dancing. I like the set. And I like music, and I'm open-minded about different kinds of music. I like rap music. I like alternative pop, rock music. I like good music. It was good. It was fun. It was lively. I watched it, and it was attractive. This thing at Turning Point, it fucking sucked. And I see some people trying to do this hot take where they're like, no, they were both bad. No, they really weren't. One was good and one sucked. One was actually a lot of fun, and one was a drag. One was about the music and dancing and fun, and one was really weirdly political and just kind of goofy and didn't make any sense, and it was actually paid for by a political nonprofit. So, no, I'm not going to do this gay, cowardly, it's all Zog slop. No, one was super entertaining. You know, whatever you want to say, the Super Bowl was this unbelievable production. Green Day was excellent. The game was great. I mean, I hate sports, but I watched the game. It was kind of boring for most of it, but, the production was good. Halftime show was exciting. It was good. So, liberalism is sort of unstoppable. If you want to derail liberalism, if you want to derail this machine, we need to be absolutely excellent. We can't be phoning it in. Kid Rock is not going to defeat liberal hegemony, okay? If you think the fucking Super Bowl and the military-industrial complex and everything that America is, Hollywood, all of these world wonders that America creates, if you think that's going to be derailed by a Kid Rock concert and, if we just get enough of the silent majority of QAnon believers and alternative medicine believers and, weird Christian cultists that support Israel, if we just get enough of those people in a stadium and enough red, white, and blue lights and stuff, that we're going to win, you're wrong. You're wrong. So, anyway, that's my take on the Super Bowl halftime show. I do think it matters. I do think it's culturally significant. And I think that we need to take it seriously. And I'm going to be honest with you. The left has fully recovered. They have taken back the initiative. And I know, maybe saying fuck ICE at the Grammys didn't work. This is not, I don't think, the same kind of wokeism that put everybody off 5 years ago. It's a different animal. So anyway, that's that. Okay, I do want to move on. We're like an hour into the show, and we're consumed with talk about sports, about the halftime show. I want to move on. I want to get into our featured story, which is about these Epstein files. We're definitely not going to get into Iran. And our featured story is about our latest development here on Thomas Massie and the Epstein files. The big news is that it seems that we're actually going to get some real information here. And I said this last week about the files. Again, this was really unpopular. But I said last week about the actual files that got dropped by the Department of Justice. There really isn't a smoking gun in the files. There's no there. There's not one email, there's not one photograph, there's not one video, there's nothing that is actually explicitly damning. And everybody freaked out because I said that. They said, well, there's these suspicious emails, there's innuendo, there's Pizzagate-like coded language. And I think that's totally true. I agree with that. But what we got in the files, if you were to go to a judge, go to court with this stuff, it wouldn't hold up. You couldn't make a charge stick against somebody with what is in the files. So what are we supposed to do with this information? Well, I said this not last Friday, but the Friday before that. And I said this last Monday. The call to action is that we have to take the 3 million files that we have and these suggestive emails, the innuendo, the coded language, these really suspicious emails that we have questions about, and we need to demand that the Justice Department do a full investigation. Because here's the thing about something like this. If Epstein is running a sex trafficking blackmail ring, and he's got compromising material on foreign governments and powerful business leaders, and if these files were put together 20 years ago, the DOJ, the very same DOJ that is in on all of it, they're not going to release all the evidence. Obviously. If the idea is that there is a grand conspiracy and Epstein is protected by intelligence, like I said, he's got this unbelievable operation that spans different jurisdictions and private and public life, It's not going to be in the files. And if it is, it's not going to be in the files they release. And if it is, it's going to be redacted. So people were saying 2 weeks ago, okay, we have these 3 million files. Let's search through them and let's just take anything that resembles wrongdoing, and let's put this out there like this is the end all be all. And I said that's a big mistake. Let's not overplay our hand, because it's not the end all be all. We have to take what we find, bring it to the Justice Department and the relevant authorities, because unlike us, they have the actual government power to investigate. Now, the big news today has to deal with this question. So, of course, people have been going through the Epstein files, and there is a lot of stuff that is weird. There is Pizzagate coded language talking about beef jerky and pizza and all that sort of stuff, which we saw from the Podestas and the WikiLeaks emails 10 years ago. And you also have some suspicious emails. They talk about torture. They talk about young ages. They talk about a lot of things like this. So people have raised to social media and to the government that these sorts of things are inside the files. Finally, Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have brought it to the attention of the government. Now the Department of Justice says that they are going to open up the unredacted files only to members of Congress. And there's some rules concerning this disclosure. They have to make an appointment 24 hours in advance. They can't take photos, can't do any kind of electronic recording. And they can only do it in like a guided tour. So it's not like they can just ask for the documents and receive them by email. They actually have to go in. I don't know if it's at the DOJ building. I don't know where exactly it's taking place, if it's going to be at the Capitol building. But congressmen make an appointment 24 hours in advance. They come in, can't record anything. It's a limited amount of time. They take a look, they can take notes, and that's it. So Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna are working on this, and they're working through it because under the actual legislation, which was passed by the two of them, they forced the hand of the House of Representatives to bring this bill to the floor that requires the DOJ to release the files. It actually says that the DOJ may not be following through on what it says in the law. The law says that you need to release everything related to Epstein, and they haven't released all the files. And of course, the files they did release are heavily redacted. So this is one of these concessions that the DOJ is offering up, but it is being currently litigated. You have these representatives like Massie and Ro Khanna. They are saying, we're not really getting what we're entitled to, and the DOJ is giving this concession saying, well, we'll release the unredacted material, but only under supervision and only for members of Congress. And again, there's all these rules. Now, one of the things that has been found inside the files, and this has been brought to everybody's attention, is that the Department of Justice has actually found 6 unnamed collaborators with Epstein. And so the DOJ can actually charge up to 6 people in connection with Epstein. And it describes them as likely incriminated. That's the word that is used. This is in the files that are released. The DOJ says there are 6 likely incriminated individuals. And these are collaborators. These are accomplices to Epstein. I believe one of them is Ghislaine Maxwell. Another one almost certainly is Les Wexner, the Jewish billionaire. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have seen the names, and they've given hints. They say that one of them is a very prominent person, no other details. They say the other is a high-ranking member of a foreign government. Again, no details. So the DOJ says there's 6 people that could go down, that could be charged. These congressmen have seen the names, but they're redacted, and they're not allowed to say the names. And so this is a story. This is from Axios. This just came out today. It says, quote, the Justice Department redacted the names of at least 6 men who are likely incriminated by their inclusion in the Epstein files. said Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna after reviewing unredacted versions of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. The lawmakers said they want to allow the DOJ time to further unredact the files. However, they also put sharing the names on the House floor on the table. It was a very poorly written article. Some brown person wrote this. They put sharing the names on the House floor on the table. It's like, what monkey wrote this?
Fucking dude.
What kind of third world garbage wrote somebody? This is actually how it's written. This is I like Axios. The lawmakers said they want to allow DOJ time to further unredact the files, but have also put sharing the names on the House floor on the table. It's just like horrible writing. Anyway, it says the lawmakers would be protected by the House's speech and debate clause if they were to read them on the floor, providing them with immunity from civil or criminal liability. Massie told reporters that one of the men is pretty high up in a foreign government and another is a prominent individual. The lawmakers didn't elaborate on what they meant or specify the conduct at issue. The Justice Department agreed to let lawmakers access the full documents following a written request from House Judiciary Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin. Democrats and some Republicans have argued that the DOJ is skirting its statutory requirements under the Epstein Transparency Act by withholding millions of documents and heavily redacting some of the files that they did release. The documents will be available on computers in a reading room, at the DOJ building in Washington, D.C. from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Members must give at least 24 hours notice and cannot bring in electronic devices. So here's the thing about the files. We only have half of them. You have to understand this. We only have half of them. There are 6 million files. The DOJ released 3 million. So it's not even like we have the majority of them. We have half. And the files that we do have, we don't even have the complete documents. Names and details and all kinds of other information is being withheld. So this is why I said we cannot jump to conclusions. And you want to know why? If people take things that are fake or exaggerated or embellished and they promote these things, and we've seen it happen for the past 2 weeks, those things will be debunked. And you know what people are going to say then? They're going to say, well, we released the files. There was nothing bad in the files. People thought there was, but they were wrong. They didn't do their research, and it turned out to be a nothing burger. But here's what we need to press on, and I've been saying this for 2 weeks. I said, don't take these files and take one vague little email, because that's what people are doing. They take anything that looks suspicious, anything that looks damning, and they say, see, here's the evidence. No, that's not the evidence. The evidence is in the 3 million other files that weren't released. That's why they weren't released. The evidence has been redacted. That's why it's redacted. Why would they redact it? What other reason would there be to redact it other than to cover up for people that have not yet been indicted? That's really the only reason you would do that. And so here is the call to action. We have to insist that all the information gets out there. Only then can we make a judgment. Now, to that end, Thomas Massie and others are saying, we need all the files. You are not following through on your obligations. The Epstein Transparency Act says you need to declassify everything, all the files, all the information in the files. What's more, they have looked at the unredacted files in the supervised setting, and they found that actually when you look through them, you'll find there are people named in the files that probably should be investigated. So what do you do with this information? Well, then you push the DOJ to prosecute those people. We should be looking into Howard Lutnick. We should be looking into Les Wexner. We should be looking into Steve Bannon. And I like Bannon. I've said it before. I like the guy. I like what he's been saying. But he's named in there an awful lot. If he's innocent, well, let that come out in the investigation. We need to look into Elon Musk. We need to look into all these people. Donald Trump, Ronald Lauder, Leon Black. All of these people need to be fully investigated. There's enough there for a warrant. You're hanging out with a convicted sex trafficker. You're hanging out with somebody who was involved in some shady stuff. And by the way, these were all people that were hanging out with Epstein after he was initially charged and convicted. Leon Black was his money man after Epstein got out of prison. Ronald Lauder was helping him launder money, allegedly using art purchases after Epstein was charged and convicted. Peter Thiel was investing money with him after he was convicted. So what does that tell you? All these people need to be scrutinized. All of them need to be investigated. And that's where this needs to go. You shouldn't say, hey, we got the files, we have all the evidence, case closed, they're satanic, cannibalistic vampires. No, you need to take what you have, use that to press for further disclosure, for names, and we have to pressure the DOJ to then follow up on the names. The people in the files have names and they have addresses. Now, we can do nothing with this information because we are citizens. But the FBI and Congress and the DOJ, well, they have the power to get a warrant. They have the power to issue subpoenas, to compel testimony, to depose. They have the power, actually, and the obligation to investigate. So the next step is we need to push Thomas Massie, to push the DOJ to release all the files. That's number one. Number two, we need the names of these 6 people. And the DOJ has actually listed 2 of them. One of them is Les Wexner. I believe they reported that earlier, but I'm not certain. And the other is a billionaire from the United Arab Emirates. His name is Ahmed Suleiman, I think is the name. I might be mispronouncing that. It's one of those names. But it's a billionaire Emirati. Well known, I believe he's royal family, or connected. And the other is Les Wexner. So we need to know who those names are. And then once that happens, we need to investigate. But I'll tell you something. Here's what stinks about the whole situation. And people need to be reminded of this every single day. The Trump administration engaged in a failed cover-up of the Epstein files. Whatever is in the files, whatever we know about the files, let's put that on the back burner for just 1 second. One thing is absolutely unambiguous. Some of these emails are very suggestive, but vague. And some of them are eyebrow-raising and suspicious, but they're not necessarily a smoking gun. And I think that's why we need full transparency. They need to be unredacted. We need the rest of the files. Putting that aside for just a second, here's something that we know absolutely, and this is something that people are forgetting. It's something people are overlooking. What the Trump administration said specifically about the files last year is that there were no files. Remember? This Attorney General, Pam Bondi, at the Department of Justice, she authorized a memo. She signed off on a memo that said there are no Epstein files. That was the official declaration of the Department of Justice. They said the files do not exist. The White House put out a press release that said the files do not exist. Not only is that a lie, and it is, there are actually 6 million files, okay? So they lied. They said the files don't exist, and actually what they said is the only thing that we have in our possession is child sexual abuse material. They said, we don't have documents, we don't have emails, we don't have anything. They said, you've seen it all. Everything that we have, you've got. They said, all that we have left is sexual abuse material that we cannot release because it hurts the victims. Remember? So the files do exist, and they lied. Then they came up with another lie to cover it up, and they said, well, we can't release what is remaining because it's all just going to hurt the victims. Remember that? They said it would be irresponsible to release what is remaining because that would only compromise the victims' privacy or safety So that's actually an active cover-up. That's not like they were misinformed, they didn't exaggerate, that's not a false promise. The Trump administration engaged in an active deception and a cover-up. They also said there are no people that we need to investigate. They said there's no black book, there's nobody else that we're interested in. They said there are no other persons of interest or suspects, and yet, inside their own files, which they said didn't exist, they say that there are people, and this is their terminology, that are likely incriminated. So, how are you not interested in any further investigation? There are no other persons of interest. The case is closed, and yet there are 6 people that we know of. We don't even know their names because they're redacted, but the DOJ acknowledges there are 6 people that we know of that are likely incriminated. So they lied about that too, and they closed the case anyway. So Pam Bondi needs to be impeached. You do realize that. I think this fits the bill for high crimes and misdemeanors. You lied about the existence of the files. You lied about unindicted collaborators and accomplices. There are people that you acknowledge exist who are likely incriminated in the files that you said did not exist. You lied in the furtherance of a cover-up. Pam Bondi has to be impeached. Kash Patel has to be impeached. These people have to go. They cannot keep their jobs. How could we trust that Pam Bondi's DOJ, which covered up the files for a year and a half, is now going to faithfully follow the Epstein Transparency Act and release all the files? How can the public have any confidence in this? That there's any propriety here? Furthermore, how can the public have any confidence that Pam Bondi and this Department of Justice will actually investigate the people that are involved and bring them to justice if, again, they close the case knowing these people were likely incriminated? You can't trust them to follow through. You can't trust them to investigate. You can't trust them to find the information. And I would take it a step further. How can you even trust President Trump? He hired most of these people. Ronald Lauder is named in the files 961 times. His son-in-law is nominated to chair the Federal Reserve. Leon Black is named in the files dozens of times. He was one of Epstein's biggest benefactors by far. His son is the head of the Development Finance Corporation in the Trump government. Howard Lutnick is named in the files dozens of times. He talked to Epstein after he was convicted, lied about this, and he is Trump's Commerce Secretary and also on the Development Finance Corporation. So how are any of these people, how is this Trump administration going to hold them accountable? How is that going to work? How can the public have confidence that he will do that? You can't. This Epstein scandal, this is like bigger than Watergate. It really is. In terms of its significance, in terms of the actual crime that was committed, this is like a Watergate-level scandal that, mark my words, it's going to bring down the Trump government. It just is. This sank the Trump government in 2025. If there was any momentum, if there was any forward momentum in the first year of the administration, that memo alone ground it to a halt. And now that we've gotten the files, this is something they're just not going to recover from. This is a mortal wound. Because it raises so many questions, it shows that they are liars, and it destroys any confidence in what this government set out to do with its mandate, which is to drain the swamp and fight corruption and stand up for the forgotten men and women. And I hate to say it, but this Joel Ossoff in Georgia, he's coined the term, this is the Epstein class. Now, Howard Lutnick's, the Jared Kushner's, the Ronald Lauders, these are the Peter Thiels. These are the Epstein class. Fitting, apropos, totally on the money. And now that we have this information, it's only logical we're going to follow up on it. It's a midterm election year. The Democrats are going to win, and the Democrats are going to use this issue to blow up this administration. And unfortunately, they have every right to do it. Unfortunately for Trump and the Republicans, they have the mandate to do this because it is necessary. The people need answers. We can't trust this government to deliver them, and it's going to blow up the latter half of this administration. And Republicans have only themselves to blame for all of it. It's a disaster. So that's these Epstein files. We'll see what happens if we get the names of these likely incriminated individuals. We'll see what is released by the DOJ. And I think the call to action is that if you believe there are any suspicious emails, raise this with Thomas Massie. Tag him on Twitter, send it in an email to his congressional office. Call your local congressman. Congress has the discretion to look at the files. They work for us. They need to deliver. If you have a question about this age 10 email, if you have a question about this beef jerky is frozen email, the sulfuric acid, all that kind of stuff, ask your congressman to go and look at the unredacted files. Let's get all that information. Let's push for a full disclosure and then push for an investigation. And pay attention to the people that don't want to do this. There's a lot of people out there saying, oh, this is a Democrat hoax. Stephen Miller's wife said this. Stephen Miller, the Jew, and his Jew wife said, oh, it's all a Democrat hoax. I wonder why they're saying that. And all of Stephen Miller's dick riders on Twitter, they're all saying the same thing. So it's this is just like scandal to end all scandals, and it's not going away. So that's that. But I do want to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. Those are the files. Let me take a look here. We'll get set up. Let's see what we got. All right, let's take a look.
Tyler Rooney sent $20. Did you like Andrew Wilson on Rogan?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but from what I saw, it was pretty good. Yeah, he did a good job.
Average John 93 sent $50. GJ keeping cortisol in check.
When tonight? Well, we haven't even started the super chat, so give it some time.
Reno NV Grow sent $20. Who had more order? Hitler or Epstein?
That's a tough one. Well, obviously Hitler. I mean, Hitler was the leader of a country. That's way more aura. I'd probably go Hitler.
Roy Grow sent $30. Hey, I know a guy who can get you those cheese pizzas you've been asking for. He goes by Brisk Burnett and is a little shy on camera, but he'll get you what you need.
Very good. Very funny.
Double D sent $30. Your explanation of Epstein and the network he operated in was a masterclass. But one thing I don't buy is the blackmail act. It seems like they would only work once or twice. Then, given it's such a closely connected network of elites, word would get out and no one would dare go near him. What say you?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm unconvinced at this point in time. I mean, there's just not a ton of evidence for it. There's no smoking gun, there's no email, there's no allegation. We can suspect it, but as of right now, there's no hard evidence of it.
Commander sent $20. At first I was being contrite about the halftime show, but you've really won me over with the idea of a white Latino Holy American Empire.
American Empire. The only way.
Sent $400. All the poor people complaining about being broke. And instead of aspiring to be rich, they want everyone to be broke like them.
True. Thank you for the huge super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, poor people, honestly, they just need to get the right attitude. Maybe if they had the right attitude, they wouldn't be so poor. Poor people are always blaming everybody else for their own problems, crying about not having money. Did poor people ever stop and think that if they spent half as much time working hard as they did crying about being poor, maybe they'd be rich? Of course they didn't think about that because they're stupid too. Because they're also, yeah, you got to keep in mind, they're also very low IQ, so no, they didn't even think of that. Thank you for the huge super chat. We love the rich. We love the rich on the show. Thank you for the massive super chat. It's so true. All poor people do is talk about being poor. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Don't you ever talk about anything cool? Is this all you people do is sit around and talk about how poor you are? Talk about a buzzkill, so negative all the time. All they do is sit around and talk about how broke they are, all their problems. I don't know, have money? I don't know, try getting a job or something. So yeah, I don't know. I couldn't relate. I can't relate to that mindset. But thank you for the huge super chat. I appreciate it. Northern cowboy, fellow rich person. I know, I hear you.
Dr. Ricker said
I hear you.
$20. AF needs healthy kids. In answer to your question on Friday, I grew up in CD, MD at Penn State, residency at Yale. Ultrasound causes cellular thermal incavitation injuries in targeted cells. Autism free ultrasound error was 0.5%. Now it's 4%. Skip the gender reveal for 750% less risk of autism. That's a notice on 506 on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy that. Not buying that. Sounds like bullshit.
We're sending $100 to Ukraine.
Come on, we like Jake again, okay? We like him, we don't like him. We like Jake. Jake is our guy.
Ryan Morales 085 on X sent $25. Your clarity of mind has inspired me to stop taking my antipsychotics. I'm not supposed to watch, but I found a VPN for a phone which my case manager doesn't see on her end.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Simon sent $20. Long time watcher. First time donor. A PSA for all of my fellow Idahoans. Vote for Mark Fitzpatrick for governor on May 19th. Hell, get rid of our Reno governor with someone who was Idaho first. Tie.
I haven't been following that race. I'm not gonna jump in on that one. It's a shame. I thought Idaho was all like base people, but we don't seem to have anybody good from there.
Jordan Wright sent $20. He's ignoring the Floyds while simultaneously hunting and mocking the Moids. More useful than SFD jet fishing in the club. Gordon Risen on Globalism sent $20. 5 minutes into the Skid Rock stream, I was contemplating how I could join up with the Jews to persecute like Graham. We deserve to be ruled.
You're just copying everything I'm saying. It's not. It's funny when I say it. It's not funny when you're just ripping
Brendan
it.
Forbes sent $25. Free my boy Clavicular. Shit, my boy ain't do nothing wrong. Also, it's my older sister Ellie's birthday today. She's a massive fan. Birthday shout out for the sister. Thanks.
Happy birthday. Yeah, it seems like a political attack. 2 felonies? Why? Has he had Adderall in the club or something? So, free clavicular. But I heard in Arizona they just don't play around with that kind of stuff. It just, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a big deal to me. He used to fake IDs in a club. I think he had some Adderall in him. 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. I think the people that charged him were probably ugly. I think that's, honestly, you have to admit they see like a young, good-looking guy, live streamer, with some motion, and they want to take a guy like that and they want to humble him. They want to take away the swag. They want to see the confidence. So yeah, W, free clap.
18 sent $20. Hey Nick, did you see Candace Owens starting to show the Book of Enoch last week? Isn't that heresy? I thought her and Short were devout Catholics. She called it a real history. She's toast.
I've been saying that she's like an occultist or something. I don't know what exactly it is that she's on, but I've been saying this for a while. She's on some kind of, somebody is feeding her some like new age mysticism type thing. Because it's not Catholic. This Frankist obsession, the preoccupation with the occult, the Book of Enoch shilling, her Scientologist friend. Something's not right over there. I don't know what it is, but
this time sent $20. You have talked a lot about Palantir and them big into their stock. What do you think about going in big on a stock that's owned by a gay Jew? God bless G.
I just like to make money, you know.
Big.
Well, it's owned by a gay Jew. Okay, well, you know, that's the stock that made a lot of money last year. If you bought Palantir before the election, you made a lot of money. So.
Big Sex sent $25. That's stupid. Sexy bitch Anna Kasparian coming unraveled about ICE terrorizing American citizens proved your point from a few months back. Our shared commonalities with the left begin and end with our disdain for Israel.
Yep.
Go.
Should have been obvious.
Hey, Leopard sent $50. Thank you for rescuing me from the persuasion of Daily Wire. I was a diehard Knowles and Shapiro listener for years, and you opened my eyes to their BS last fall. Praying for your continued success. AF.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sprinkles sent $50. Just keeping the memory alive in the chat for Christine from Ohio. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We love Christine. Yeah, R.I.P.
Rover sent $25. It's tiresome the reductionist reaction to Bad Bunny being performative in the Super Bowl by advocating giving away Puerto Rico. The island is ours. It's rightful American land.
Who's saying that?
Chuck Johnson Sullivan sent $25. 3. Israel's fifth column and how it functions. What do you think of Matt Byron, PB leader and board advisor to the war-hogging Visegrad 24? He always seems to be in strange places. For example, Brazil before coup, hanging in Romania last election, bar mitzvah in Israel at age 40, and slinging weird business investments.
Yeah, he's very sus.
Biddy Sprinkles sent $100. Visited a few friends in Milwaukee this weekend. The amount of Fuentes gear I saw was actually astonishing. I met and spoke to some intelligent, down-to-earth, well-mannered Broheimer's. Represent.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat. Love to hear it.
Figured 1857 cent $500. Fresh this game.
Whoa! Big Red, thank you very much, man. Thank you for the support, 07s. Appreciate the huge super chat. Keeping it simple, too. Christ is king. Thanks a lot, man. God bless.
Sent $20. The halftime show was in Spanish and all the performers were brown people. The message was, this is what America looks like. A mosaic of Latin peoples. Clearly it was political. Clearly it was middle finger to white people. Weird thing. Are you even a white nationalist at this point?
Honestly, I don't feel like one anymore. I feel like, you know, do I want America to be a white country? Yes. I'm pro-white. But the movement has just been captured by losers and idiots. And I don't really... I'm kind of just done pandering. I fucking hate these people. That's how I feel about it. You know, when I look at what the movement has become, like the kind of impulses that have captured it, it's just kind of depressing. And I've always been forward-thinking, and I've always been heterodox, and I've always been progressive in a way, and increasingly I don't feel like I fit in with that anymore. You know? So no, I don't think I'm like you, because now it's turned into. It used to be the case that if you were against white genocide, if you're pro-white, if you're against immigration, like that is what it meant to be on our side. Now it's like you have to be a Republican culture warrior. I have to be spun up about the Super Bowl halftime show. It's just so low IQ. It's so low IQ. It's so monotonous, so repetitive. You're screaming at the halftime show because it's in Spanish. Okay, I mean, am I supposed to do this performative outrage? Why? I'm supposed to get up out of my seat? Who gives a fuck? You know? So I just don't. No, I don't think I fit in anymore because, you know, I'm telling you this, we've reached the high watermark of that stuff. I've been doing this for 10 years. I was into this before it was popular, before it was mainstream, and now it's filled with a bunch of complete fucking idiots, and it's really just turned into signaling that you're a part of an in-group. And we're all going to have the same take, and we're all going to have the same opinion, and we're all going to say the same thing, and we're all going to engage in this elaborate performance. I don't know who it's for, why. We're all going to perform outrage. We're all going to perform and do the same jokes, and we're all going to have the same talking points. And I don't know, it's no longer interesting to me. It's no longer interesting. It's not funny anymore. It's not edgy. It's really just become a drag. At one point, we were the trolls, and now we're the butthurt ones. There was a point in time when we were having fun, and we were laughing, and we were trolling, and we were making jokes, and now our side are the biggest butthurt faggots of all time. You know, the far right has become the biggest butthurt faggots ever. Everybody's mad all the time. You can't make jokes. Everyone's moral fagging about everything. Purity spiraling. And people are, at the end of the day, people don't even really have a vision for what the country should be. I mean, half the people complaining about the halftime show aren't even white nationalists. They don't even know what the fuck they are. They just have these grievances. They don't care if America... Do you think Megyn Kelly gives a shit if America's white or not? Megyn Kelly is bitching about it. Like, you think Megyn Kelly is based? Megyn Kelly's screaming, the Super Bowl should be unifying, it should be in English. You think Megyn Kelly's a white nationalist? She isn't. She's just pandering to, like, I don't know, this, like, really bitter, like, white resentment politics. And, Yeah, I've always said this. I want to imagine a better future. I'm actually a progressive. And this kind of like Oliver Anthony, Matt Walsh, like knuckle dragging, like bitter ass face thing. We're all going to be grumpy and mad. I've never been on board with that. I've always seen it as defeatist and fucking pathetic. And basically just this big loser mentality. So, yeah, you know. The halftime show was in Spanish. Oh, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time. It's like, okay. The message was, America is full of Latin people. Well, you know, it is. So, I mean, are we gonna, or do we live in reality? The message is, America's full of Mexicans. Okay, America is like a quarter Hispanic. So, like, I don't know, like, get real? It was clearly a middle finger to white people. You know, I didn't really feel like that at all. It just, that message wasn't really there. But you see what you want to see, and you can go on fucking Oliver Anthony Island and be, I don't know, seething about it. But yeah, this whole halftime show, all these various events over the past 6 months, it's just like, get me out of here. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. You know? Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. Hands off Venezuela, hands off Greenland. I support ICE, but they're being too mean. The Super Bowl's in Spanish. It's like, excuse me, this is not something that I fuck with at all. Lunatics are running the asylum. People that 9 months ago were woke are now telling us what's based. I don't know. I'm not a part of it.
On 83 cent $20. Thanks for not using our Lord as a fraud.
Not sure what that reference is, but thanks.
Crazy sent $20. Hey Nick, can we go to Riverside Mall and watch a movie? Probably go to Midwest Gun Range. Or how about Oak Park? I think you have to start meeting with pro-actors. Yawning face emoji. You can't keep us away. Also, when does my hat arrive? Jill Q sent $20. Wouldn't it be cool if Candace Owens' astral projected to Wakanda, like forever and never came back? Dominican Broiler sent $25. Hey Romeo, should Anna Perez be expecting any mail this week? Winking face emoji. Red heart emoji. Smiling face with hearts emoji.
Very good.
Diddy Sprinkles sent $100. Response to my last chat about Milwaukee Grow Ivers. Only ran into one tweet. Nick, you know those chats you get and say no way it's real. Well, I met one of those. It's more painful in person. Seek help.
Yeah, I've met them too. Thanks for telling me. Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it.
Boss sent $20. Your boy Alex Jones going off all day, but he has 100% proof that Epstein made jerky from Gentile girls and starved babies to perform oral sex. Also, his bank is bail. Do you believe Alex in this?
No, I don't.
Time's up sent $100. I'm going to kill myself if my wife dies.
Okay, thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very
Our
much.
intelligence agency sent $26. People like to shit on you for your takes on women due to lack of romantic experience, but you just don't miss. Chad Incel Alliance remains undefeated. The Sims accept hand piping from some 5S for eternity. Everyone has to realize they won't be a problem versus real niggas, and that's not going on.
Okay, yeah.
Diddy Sprinkles sent $50. Heard Candace speak about Charlie Kirk's third eye. I missed yesterday, but doesn't third eye mean asshole? Now, not adjective. Not trying to be funny. I'm genuinely lost. Horrible verbiage choice though. Hyro Alvena sent $20. Good evening, Nick. Just wanted to let you know I'm willing to snag as many liberals as I possibly can. In Brown, but in America first, it's given me so much already, at least I can return the favor. Called my brother a cunt for watching Candace. I think life's great. Smile, thanks for the show tonight.
Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
There's a fair amount of people that share the belief that Iran may be forcing our hand during these negotiations through military posture. They seem like a credible threat with serious capabilities.
Whoa. So what are we in the analyst's room right now? That was just some serious analysis. Amazing.
Michael Martinez sent $100. Ordered a Q-Zip for my dad's birthday. Christ is king and thanks for keeping it based. God bless.
Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. W gift. They make great gifts.
$20. Ben Shapiro did an interview with David Remnick of the New Yorker that was released today. David brought you up as a Nazi apologist and referenced your Tucker interview and dinner with Trump before they dove into rising anti-Semitism within both parties. Ben seems to struggle in defending Trump whenever your name comes up.
I'll have to watch that. I didn't see it.
Mug Cake Chut sent $20. Did you hear Congressman Gene Wu's anti-white call to action clip that resurfaced from 2024, saying all minority communities will outbreed whites and unite against the white oppressor?
No, I didn't. That's crazy.
Paul Douglas sent $20. Nick, it finally hit me over the weekend that your ongoing Epstein joke was an incredibly successful attempt to shake off the retard's red pill during the generational run. Brilliant.
I just do it naturally. It's just like, honestly, the audience capture is the worst thing. People watch the show and then they think they own you. You know, they think that they can predict everything you're going to say. They think that, suddenly they think that you work for them. And, like, my job is to tell you what you want to hear. My job is to say the right-wing set of opinions and be on the team. And, fuck those people. Like, I don't work for you. I work for the truth. I work for me. And so people come around and they expect a certain thing, and then they don't get what they expect, and then they start to say, oh my gosh, I don't like this anymore. I don't like what I'm getting all of a sudden. And that's just the kind of low IQ thing that I never wanted to be a part of. I don't want that. I don't need that.
Francesco sent $150. Thumbs up. Replay gang. Friday's show. That content doesn't exist anywhere else. Masterclass. This is why your number one here is a $100 bail transfer. Installed. I'm sending this into your bail account right now, as we speak.
Very good. Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. Yes, very funny. That's still funny.
The Broad Guy Grow Ever sent $30. Some crystal humping faggots were also on TikTok saying the Super Bowl halftime show was a ritual. They're going to reset your vibration. Suckers, blah, blah, bullshit. Laugh my fucking ass off. Don't know what that was about. Cosplay does send $20.
Yeah.
You're falling for it because of your PTSD from the Woke era in 2020. The American flag? Really? The same way the frog protesters wore the American flag? Saga Biscuit 99 sent $21. Very nice trees in the background. What species? John J sent $25. Bannon/Epstein texts. Epstein positioned himself as an advisor and connector to Bannon, connecting him to Ehud Barak, Miroslav Lajak, Ahmed bin Saliham, MBS, and others. Bannon mentioned his influence over John Bolton and Larry Kudlow during the first admin. Epstein also appeared sympathetic to the populist message. GE Innovations Alex sent $20. You're absolutely right about the Juds. I was at a watch party with mostly early Gen X, boomers, and they all loved the halftime show. Some even danced. A fiercely repulsive exhibition indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's repulsive. I mean, we just need to live in reality. And, lately, it feels like the right wing are the ones not living in reality. It's kind of depressing that, as much as Ryan Grimm irritates the shit out of me when he says stuff like, Ilhan Omar is trying to liberate you, as much as that irritates me, it seems like a guy like that actually has his finger on the pulse more than Tucker and Candace and basically everybody put together on our side who are just, like, unlikable, totally insane, in denial, delusional. I'm telling you, dude, like, Joe Rogan is a litmus test. He's not fucking with this stuff. And look, that doesn't mean we need to, like, oh no, Joe Rogan doesn't like it. But he's a bellwether, and we need to live in reality. We actually do want to attract normal people. And so once you start getting way too far out there and start saying, that was the most woke Super Bowl ever. It's like, it really wasn't, though. You're delusional. And people start talking about time travel and magic. It's like, okay, you're crazy. So I'm just totally off put by that.
Jerkface Roy sent $20. The Super Bowl halftime shows are a perfect example of why the left always beats us in the end. The left can be very subtle and subversive with their messaging when they need to be in order to appeal to the normies, but the right couldn't tone it down if their lives depended on it.
Okay, yeah, amazing analysis.
Anonymous 23 sent $20. I am a pro-Jewish Jew and student at a top 3 law school. I find your show informative. I also appreciate that you give Jewish people credit where it's due and debunk the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that are baseless. Many Jews want to see a mutually beneficial relationship between ourselves and white Christian America.
Yeah.
AF Wilbur sent $20. The most egregious moment of the halftime show was when Bad Bunny said God bless America, then defined America by a list of countries in the Western Hemisphere, including the USA toward the end.
Yeah, it's really sophisticated. It's so deep.
Valencian 7 sent $20. I think some people don't realize that the NFL had 2 international games in Mexico City and Madrid. My guess is that the NFL went with Bad Bunny from a business perspective, not political.
No, they did it because they hate us and they want us to feel bad about ourselves. No, it's not because they want fucking Mexicans to watch Super Bowl. No, it's because they hate us and they want us to feel bad about ourselves. They don't want us to listen to country music about Drag Queen Story Hour because they drink blood. No, that doesn't make any sense. It's not about economic incentives. It's because they're dark magicians.
Blood 1730.
And they thrive off of making us lose confidence in who we are. They don't want us to make Swedish meatballs in a crock pot because they don't like us.
1738 sent $20. What would you say to someone who says they don't support ICE because ISIS violated Americans' Fourth Amendment right?
I'd say that person is not equipped to do what is necessary.
Belarus Roy sent $20. First time super chaining. Do you think people want to replace Hitler with Epstein? Most people can't live without some ultimate evil to put all their problems.
Oh my gosh. Trying to get normies to think is just like, it's actually scary. Like, you're actually scaring me, bro.
J44 sent $67. Hey Nick, Bad Bunny was asked during
You're
the ESPN
fucking
halftime
scaring
show.
me.
To the next year.
You
DJ,
fucking scared me.
Yeah, I'd pick Hitler for the
Atari agent sent $50. 2EA. Net mice strip, dry aged, trim 6 ounces chopped lemongrass, net weight 8 ounces chopped ginger, net weight 2C, ABC sweet soy sauce 4C Gama. Lexington Steel said $50. Ohio Ramage seems pretty quiet since you put him on blast. Any updates on his chances for attaining the governor's office? I'll get stupid quiet dude, which is outstanding content, sir. Flex.
Yeah,
Joe Van Keys said $20. Nick, I know you don't support the Iranian Revolution, but would you be interested in doing a show with leaders of the revolution, at least one live from Iran? The revolution is right. Wyatt Collenberg.
No, fuck them. Fuck those people, and I hope Iran crushes them. I hope they get fucking destroyed. They're traitors. They are traitors to their country, and I hope they get fucking crushed. They are traitors to their country. You know, Iran is fighting for their sovereignty. Israel is blowing up their country. And I get why people are angry. You know, they're hungry, they're poor, but no, I don't want to talk to those people. I'd rather talk to the Ayatollah. I'd rather talk to the jurists. I'd rather talk to the Qataris and the leaders of the revolution. Revolution? Absolutely not. The revolution is right. Give me a
break. $20. My roommate is totally convinced that the emails between Jeff Yevy and a professional chef where they talk about yummy beef jerky is clear proof that everyone is a Satanist cannibal. Okay, or maybe across 6 million emails he actually just talks about eating actual food sometimes. The truth is stranger in fiction, I guess.
Well, you know, who knows?
Joshua said $25. Trump administration aren't the real niggas like I thought they were.
You thought they were going to be real?
Said $20. I broke up with my girlfriend the other day after I found out she was a feminist liberal. She really thought that the woman runs the show. Women power my ass. Sit down and shut the fuck up.
Sit down and shut the fuck up.
Eric Swishy said $20. Hey guys, my deacon is going under the knife today for a large cancerous mass on his colon. Just wanted to ask fellow pro-ambers for prayers. Thanks for the amazing show as always, Nick. God bless.
Good luck. I'm so tired, man. I've had such a I woke up at like 8 a.m. today. Which is early because I'm live at midnight. So I'm just like falling asleep.
$20. If only Adolf won. Could have prevented Epstein Island. Got nobody to blame but our own government for all this shit.
Yeah, a really great point. Never thought of it that way.
Literally said $20. Did you see that Epstein had access to stuff?
No, I
Jake Knobloch said $20. How the F did Hunter Biden avoid the scandal? Seems like he had heads up to avoid the island. This behavior was right up his alley.
Yeah, someone in the world was doing cocaine. How are they not on the island?
Joshua said $150. Sending this just cause I'm not a poor boy.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat, W, where the rich can throw money and it means nothing to them. Hey, shout out to all my rich people. If you're rich, prove it by sending $100 without even blinking. You know, rich people are so rich they can throw $100 in. It means nothing.
Bob Slop said $40. Nick, I was with you when you defended Epstein, but you're losing me trying to defend Bad Bunny.
Okay, bye.
That Wayne Snyder Bro said $100.
I like the music. I like the music. I don't care what anyone says. It's good music. I've been listening to it. What's that song? It's like MDTF. MTDF. I think it's a great song. I like it. I don't give a shit. What you people, you want your Kid Rock? You can have. Take your Bomb DeWiggy DeWig. You can take that.
That Wayne Snyder Bro said $100.
I'm going with my blood memory. My blood
Wayne Snyder Bro said
remembers.
$100. Killing it, man. Diet is worthy. You lifting weights.
Thank you for the big super chat. You lifting weights? No, I'm not lifting weights. Thank you for the big super chat. No motivation. Why bother? What's even the point? What's the use? Who do I need to look good for? What's even the use? I'm a riskless, unfuckable chud. What is it even all for? Lifting weights? I prefer not to. I'd rather not.
Whatever said $30. Even if you enjoyed it, I was hopefully better articulate. Halftime show celebrating their culture was unacceptable for an American sporting event like the Super Bowl.
I thought you. No motivation. Why bother? What's even the point? What's the use? Blood remembers.
$100. Killing it, man. Diet is working. You lifting weights.
Thank you for the big super chat. You lifting weights? No, I'm not lifting weights. Thank you for the big super chat. No motivation. Why bother? What's even the point? What's the use? Who do I need to look good for? What's even the use? I'm a riskless, unfuckable chud. What is it even all for? Lifting weights? I prefer not to. I'd rather not.
Whatever said $30. Even if you enjoyed it, I was hopefully better articulate why a Latin halftime show celebrating their culture was unacceptable for an American sporting event like the Super Bowl.
I thought you were going to tell me something I already thought. I wanted to hear my opinion reinforced. I'd rather not.
Whatever said $30. Even if you enjoyed it, I was hopeful you'd better articulate why a Latin halftime show celebrating their culture was unacceptable for an American sporting event as big as the Super Bowl.
I thought you were going to tell me something I already thought. I wanted to hear my opinion reinforced. The Super Bowl is in America. We in England in America. Good point. Good point. I've heard this opinion 10,000 times this weekend, but I wanted to hear you say it harder. Now, see, that's why I hate you. That's why I don't like ugly, stupid freaks. I don't like ugly, stupid freaks. Here's why I don't like you people. Because, so the Super Bowl halftime shows in Spanish. Stop the presses. Call the National Guard. Everybody is saying exactly the same thing. Spanish should be in English. Now, fuck. The country speaks English. The song should be in English. Okay, so we've all heard that. We all sort of agree. Okay, we all kind of agree. We've all heard that. Everybody tune into the show because they want to hear me say it, though. We all sort of agree. We've all heard that. And you want to tune into the show to hear me say it? The show should be in English. I think the show's in Spanish? That's not English. The show should be in English. And why? Why do you want to... You want to get up on the coffee table? Yeah, the show should be in English. I mean, like, why? I don't know. It's just so low IQ. I have been doing this for long enough in my life that I'm just sick of, I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of it. I mean, so everybody can get up out of their recliner chair. You can get your fat ass up off the chair. Yeah. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about any of it? Nigger Ball brought to you by Beer and Sports Gambling. Here's your Goy Ball brought to you by Gambling and Miller Lite. Goy Ball. Oh, my nigger just scored a point. Brought to you by... Well, what is the gambling site? Brought to you by Dave Portnoy and DraftKings. It should be in English. It's like, I mean, come on already. Well, it was acceptable last year because it was Kendrick Lamar. The Ebonics was in English. I need my Ebonics to be in English. I need my bubblegum pop garbage. I need my degenerate Jewish pop garbage to be in English when I watch my black people play ball. Will I gamble my money away for the Jews? Like, okay. Really? Like, could we all grow up? Wait a second. This country that's a quarter Mexican now has a Super Bowl in Spanish? What the heck? It's like, okay, I mean, come on. Come on, guys. I mean, can we grow up a little bit? It's actually crazy. I don't know. It's all just so... I'm above it all. I'm too smart for this. I'm better than this. And I'm better than you. Okay? You want to... Here's my honest-to-God opinion. If you want to complain about the Super Bowl in Spanish, seriously, go watch Matt Walsh, okay? Go watch Goyim TV, not the based one. Go watch Goy Matt Walsh, who can never talk about the Jews, and watch him shake his fist as an angry white man about how the Super Bowl's in Spanish. You want your sweet release. Okay, you cock? Okay, you fucking white cock? You want your release? You want an angry white man to say I'm mad as hell that the Super Bowl's in Spanish? Go watch the Goy. Get your release. Okay? That's my honest-to-God opinion. It's like everything, you're not telling us to vote for Trump. You're not telling us that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. You're not telling us that the Super Bowl halftime show should be in English. Okay, go watch TV for Goyim then. Okay, and yeah, get mad at the Super Bowl, vote Republican, knock yourself out. If that is what you're interested in, which is reinforcing your opinions, giving a release valve to your outrage about the latest cultural thing, go watch Blaze TV. We don't do that here. We don't play that game here, okay? Politics is what we do here. Politics is what we do. Hot takes is what we do. Humor, comedy. See, I got him laughing. Told you, comedy is what I do. Other stuff, go watch something else.
Whatever sent $30. Even if you enjoyed it, I was hopeful you better articulate why Latin halftime show celebrating the culture was thing. Jacob sent $20. Bought with TABATA back DA back. Then he said the boogie set up jump the boogie.
Go take your fucking fedora and your hair transplant, your gay leather jacket, and shove it up your ass. I'm not watching a generic country concert. I'm literally watching this concert, and the lyrics are, "It ain't easy being country in this country.
Ugh.
It ain't easy being country in this country." Holy SJW crybaby. Wham, wham. I can't be mad about liberalism or else I'll get canceled.
Oh.
Shut the fuck up. Dude, Trump used to be awesome. Trump used to be up on stage, we're gonna build a fucking wall. Mexico's paying for it. And now it's we're back to being these big, fat, gross babies. It ain't easy being country. I can't get $1, man. I'm getting canceled for saying men can't be women. It's hard out here for a simple country boy. Shut the fuck up.
Romeo Guerrero 9 sent $20. Hey Nick, graduation or MBDDF?
Gross.
All the thoughts on the Chicago Blackhawks?
So loser coded. Graduation or Dark Twisted Fantasy? That's a tough one. I gotta say Graduation. It's tough though. I kind of go back and forth. I mean, Dark Twisted Fantasy, you got Runaway, you got, what else?
Wow.
You got Gorgeous, you got Devil in a New Dress, you got Monster, All of the Lights. You got some heat. You got Hell of a Life. Graduation, you got Stronger, you got Flashing Lights, you got Can't Tell Me Nothing, you got Everything I Am, Good Morning. You got, maybe I'm Dark Twisted Fantasy. Because it's just a little harder, it's a little edgier, it's a little more hardcore.
Plotho sent $20. There's a moon called Enceladus. It's the loneliest one in the solar system. Canceling Growing sent $20. The halftime show was just another IQ filter for us. If all American culture has to offer is being a beer-drinking truck driver, we're fucked.
Yeah, okay.
Mama Chic sent $50. My mom and I were watching your show and my mom said I bet he doesn't wear pants during his shows. So do you?
Yeah, I wear pants.
Lyseal sent $50. Almost missed the stream doing research. Bro gives a fuck about the Super Bowl. Get your all's bread up, Father Hope Andrews.
So true. You're broke! You're broke! Someone has to flip the fucking burgers, dumbass! You're crying about the Super Bowls in Spanish. You're broke! Do you know that while you were crying about the Super Bowl, there are 14-year-olds making $50,000 a month in Dubai? And basically you're a fucking loser? You were crying about you were boycotting the Super Bowl halftime show. You thought you did something. I turned off the Super Bowl and I put on Rumble. Yeah, and then what? Everyone clapped? Then what happened? All of your obese relatives clapped? Their hands covered in greasy dip? Their hands covered in greasy dip and grease from Tostitos? Well, you were doing that. There's a 14-year-old in Dubai with a penthouse making $50,000 a month managing OnlyFans stars. What are you doing with your life? What is your excuse? How old are you?
You're fucking broke. What color is your Bugatti? You were there in your sweatshirt. You were there in your jersey with the black man's name on it, you pussy. You were there with the black guy's name on your jersey, your goy ball jersey, fingers covered in grease, clapping. Everyone clapped when you switched over to the Rumble television app and you watched the Kid Rock halftime show. You smirked and grinned like you did something. Meanwhile, there are Latinx Zoomers in Miami making $30,000 a month creating AI YouTube shorts, and basically you're nothing. Okay? The country belongs to those that will take it. If you're crying about the Super Bowl halftime show, you're a pussy. How do I say this? If you're shutting out at the Super Bowl halftime show, you're not gonna make it. I don't know how else to tell you this. Okay? Millionaires and billionaires are in a box. Millionaires and billionaires are eating box. They're on the box at the Super Bowl, and they're like, oh, this is a good song. They're just kind of dancing to it in the background. You're like shutting out on Twitter. That's the difference. Your cortisol is all the way up here. You're tearing out your hair. I can't believe it. You know, millionaires and billionaires are at some party. They're in like LA. They have like infinity pool. They're with their hot bitch. And the song comes on and they're like, hey, honey, this is kind of a good song. Want to dance? See, that's the difference. That's the difference. You're like headbanging with like a USA cowboy hat on. Your bitch is fat because you're broke. She has a bejeweled USA cowboy hat on, and you're headbanging, pretending to like Kid Rock because your cortisol is spiked by Spanish at the halftime show. Rich people are dancing. They're not even paying attention. They're eating caviar. They're like, oh, honey, the halftime show's on. Hey, this is kind of fun. It's like Latin. Remember when we were in Aruba? Fucking losers. I just can't breathe the same air as you people. Ever since I got rich, it's like I just don't even know you.
$20. I admire your explanation about sticking up for your friends even if they do something you don't stand for or approve of, and how loyalty is hard to find among us these days. Commendable. How come we cannot extend the same explanation for why Matt Walsh stands/stays with Ben Shapiro? Aren't they like butt buddies?
Because Ben Shapiro is Jewish. Because Ben Shapiro is Jewish. Okay? That is the difference. We're in a civilizational war. And Ben Shapiro is on Team Jewish, okay? Now look, I will be loyal to a Jewish person if he's Team America. I've got some friends, their allegiance is questionable at times, actually. You know what's funny? I have, like, Jewish friends that are Catholic, but they always do, like, a little something that makes you wonder. Dude, the stuff I could tell you, it literally is all of them. I will just tell you this. I know I say all the time, hey, I have Jewish friends, and let me tell you something, it's literally all of them. Okay? Because even the Jewish friends that I have, like, they're so Jewish. It's like they can't get it out of them. It's an immutable quality. They actually, and on some level you can't blame them because they can't help themselves. It will always be there. It's always present. Even if it's dormant. It's like herpes or something. Like it just kind of like recurs. Scientists don't know what triggers it. It can't be cured. Sometimes it's random. But it will just emerge. And you just got to keep an eye out. You can't trust them. You can love them. You can't trust them. Anyway, so that's the reason why. Because Ben Shapiro is Jewish. And he's playing for Team Israel. So I can't be close friends with somebody that's Team Israel. I just can't. You know, that's the difference. You say, so how come we can't extend that to Matt Walsh and Shapiro? Well, Matt Walsh does think of Shapiro that way because Matt Walsh is a goy. He is a Shabbos goy.
Agnes Rex 95 cent $50. Nick even Kimmel said it was low-key bad. Also footage showed the stadium was dead. Also Brock said that the current files unequivocally contradict Kash Patel's testimony. Also FK had a swag.
He said, what was low-key bad? The tapes or what? Oh, in the stadium? Hey, I liked it. Is the stadium in the room with us? Because I liked
Shaver
it.
sent $20 for everyone in the chat. If you have watched the NFL after kneeling for the anthem and racism, shut your bitch ass up.
So true. So true. So, who's watching this? Dude, who cares? It's an excuse to hang out. People say it's the liturgy. It's the people, I literally saw someone say it's American liturgy. You people are so broke, it's just not even
Rel
funny.
Martin sent $20. I had noticed wanted to do a collab with you. Would you be open to it? That would be epic.
I don't know. He's kind of a questionable character. All my friends love his content, but they also say he might be a murderer. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. In this country, you believe in innocent until proven guilty. A few of my friends love his stuff. They watch him every day. They also suspect that he might be a murderer. Now, I don't know if that's slander, but I got to get to the bottom of that. I don't know. Then again, it would be kind of horrible. I don't know who he killed.
Josh from Florida sent $8. Jack Lozovic. Cernovich. Will Chamberlain and many others on X said the United States should leave Puerto Rico / let them be independent in response to Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl. Supposed to be did a whole show about this.
Dude, that's so dumb. That is so... We need more territories. This is the thing. Like, I believe in American empire. I want America to be an empire. Yes, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Venezuela. See, it's so funny. Bad Bunny is listing them all off. He's like, Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. And he's saying, like, we're all America. Me, it's like, no, these are all the countries we need to capture. Yes, Chile, Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, Panama. It should all be ours. It should all belong to us. All of their minerals, all of their oil, all of their money. It should all be ours. So no, we're moving in the opposite direction. We need Greenland. We need Mexico. We need Brazil. We need all of them. We need to extract their resources, keep the people where they are. We need to put our missiles there. People are so cucked, you know, they're like, no, we need to bring all of our troops home. It's like, what good are they going to do here? They should be over there. They should be over there occupying and dominating the world. Especially the Western Hemisphere. Bring the troops home. It's like, dude, we just need a, Revolutionary Guard. Like, people say, we need the military to guard the border. Like, no, dude, Trump needs a Revolutionary Guard to protect the border. Like, we should raise up an internal secret police to protect the country from immigrants. Like, the answer is we need a whole other military. And that's my unironic belief. We should put missiles in South America. We should put destroyers in South America. We should put B-2 bombers, nuclear missile silos in South America. And maybe that doesn't make sense, but the nuclear part. But people say, no, we should have them protect the border. It's like, what if we had them, push the border forward? What if we built the wall 100 miles into Mexico? We just took off. These are just some ideas.
Let's at $100. Kid Rock is pathetic. Agreed. But an immigrant who earned our flag and walked the camera back W-15 third world country flags, all while we're getting fucked by their migrants. Paid for by Robert Kraft. A billionaire Zionist Jew had a photo op with the Patriots next to a Jewish flag and Netanyahu. Fuck that. They ruined football long ago. Used to be for masculine.
You're chutting out. You're chutting out. Thank you for the big super chat. You're chutting out and it's disgusting. You kind of just disgust me. You're scaring the hose. You're chutting out.
Scaring those.
Sit down, have some taco dip, and relax. Okay, it's gonna be fine. Enjoy your spectacle. Enjoy your goy ball. It's literally not that serious. It's not that deep at all. Okay. The chutting out is what kind of is disgusting to me. We have to all promise not to chut out. You're spiking your cortisol. You're chutting out. You're adjusting your glasses. Imagine you're going to an actual social outing. You're trying to network and make money. You're trying to start businesses. You know, your friends talk about gossip. My friends talk about the businesses we're starting. You're going to the sports ball game Not because you actually watch Goy Ball, but because you're going to take Reddit True Tide together, lift weights, talk about money and business. And imagine you're the guy at the party that's adjusting his spectacles, and you're like, did you guys know that Robert Kraft owns the Super Bowl? And it's like, dude, we're going to live in Puerto Rico because the taxes are $0. Have you not heard? Have you not heard that that's the new meta? I live in Puerto Rico half of the year so I can pay zero in taxes. Did you not know that that's the meta? I don't know. That's the difference, I guess. What is that expression about the two mice fell in a vat of butter? What is it? Two mice? What is the expression? Two mice fell in a bowl of milk? What's the expression? There's some truth in
Larry
this.
Silverstein is a piece of shit. Devil cunt sent $20. Hey Nick, that Kid Rock Country shit was gay.
In a vat of cream? Two mice fell in a vat of cream?
Larry Silverstein is a piece of shit. Devil cunt sent $20. Hey Nick, that Kid Rock Country shit was gay, and that Bad Bunny shit was gay. If you had a choice, who would you put in the halftime show? Also, are you able to change the super chat voice? Maybe it won't get you angry, or maybe it's the dumbass shit people say to you. Lol. I grow be safe.
Who would I put at the halftime show? I would have them sing Erica. If I could make the Super Bowl... Hey guys. Hey big guy, if I could do the halftime show, I would make them sing Erica, then Heil Hitler. Then I'd finish it off with Mr. Moon. Then I'd finish it off with Mr. Bond and Moon Man. It's like, you guys are such faggots, it's just not even possible to articulate in words. Hey big guy. Hey stupid bitch, no e-girls. If I could do the halftime show, I would make them sing Erica, then Heil Hitler, then Moon Man. Crazy, yeah. Would that satisfy you? No, this suit sucks. I need to go shopping.
Regulator said $100. Love the Gia hat because it's inconspicuous. I'm trying to blend in without tipping off the normies. Thanks, bro. More
Yes.
stuff for us trying to hide.
Yes, we have to be DL. We have to be very inconspicuous. You gripe? We have to be very inconspicuous, very... as people are not going to know what this means. I agree. Thank you for the big super chat.
African Americans
We'll
were
be
sent
undercover.
$200.
Thank you for the huge super chat,
Rate me
Nitrosaurus.
$60. Hey Nicholas, if you could spend 5 minutes with Mr. Hitler, what would you guys do?
We would laugh and we would talk about the Holocaust. We would talk about Jews. If I could meet Hitler for a few seconds, I would say Hitler. I'm going to say Hitler. Thank you. Yeah,
Regular sent $700. Just sent a chat about the Gia hat, trying to blend in, but you told me to send $100. I'll be running for local government soon. AF.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat.
Madmax21 sent $20. How do you keep the movement
Appreciate
principled and
it.
unified as it grows, without it getting diluted, hijacked, or turned into something you didn't intend? You don't really strike me as black pill like others.
Well, we're doing it. We're doing
GS
it.
sent $25. I'm mostly European and a little Mexican. 5 feet 8 inches on a good day. Got a date this week with a fine 5 feet 10 inches blonde / blue-eyed model. Do you approve or should I stay in my lane?
I don't know, man. What are the percentages? What are the... Is this like... Because you sound like me, kind of. I'm European and a little Mexican. I'm 5'9", 5'10" on a good day, 5'9" on a normal day. Except minus the 5'10" blonde. I don't know, it depends on... You be honest with yourself. I mean, if you're brown, you're
Frank
brown.
Wardman sent $20. Ditto. A lost battle for sure. This isn't the hill to die on of all things.
Okay, well, whatever.
Alabama
It's
sent
like-
$20. Who's a halftime show totally sucked donkey ding dong. How long before they stop riffing in the name of Charlie Kirk? Grandma's on a fixed income not dropping 100 all at once.
Yeah, that was crazy. This one's for you, Charlie. It's the biggest piece of dog shit. This one's for you, Charlie. It's the biggest piece of dog shit. I mean, it's alright. Yeah, that was crazy. How long are they gonna milk that one? Like, okay, fine. Think we're kind of on the other side. How many memorials are we doing on that one now?
Legend of Mike sent $20. Don't give in to your inner witch. Love yourself like we love you. Don't be a bursting fat incel just shouting stuff to yourself every night. Jim.
Are you talking to
Coach
me?
American X sent $20. Bad Bunny said was the 21st century Monroe Doctrine. The only thing missing was a Greenland flag. Perhaps there would have been two on the nose.
Yeah, next year it's an
Will
Inuit.
Bone said $20. Christians are the number one demographic falling for the spiritual Satanist Babylonian baby eaters W. Jesus.
Think so?
Suicide Be Immigration said $20. Great show tonight. Inspired me to try for number 2 Roy Child tonight. Have a good feeling about it. Plus half Mexican, half Palestinian with his 11 kids. Oh my. We'll keep you and GC posted. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Reiner said $20. Buenas noches. Están viendo America First. Soy Nicolas J. Fuentes. Y les tenemos un programa genial esta noche.
I get
Me
it.
emociona mucho estar de vuelta con ustedes es lunes. Un gran programa.
Someone in the live chat says, your taste in music sucks. Kanye is trash. Twerking butts on our screen is not needed for kids. Man up, get a family, then have an opinion want to be itself. Twerking butts. Okay, so which is it? Is it gay or is it straight? We gotta make up our mind. What's the problem here? Is the problem twerking ass or that it's also gay? It's both. Okay.
Yang shit no lame shit sent $25. You've inspired me to run for state rep. Met with local GOP and current rep wants to meet. Not running again. Would appreciate your advice on how to approach being America First while avoiding attacks for being an extremist white nationalist. Royber.
Yeah, just do whatever Steve Bannon does. Use his rhetoric. I just use him as an example because he's might be even too explicit. Who's like a good... It's kind of hard because now they really are just... Anybody that criticizes Israel is kind of blowing their cover in a way. I would just... if you're running for local government, you don't need to chut out on anything. Just keep it local.
Count Sakula sent $20. That halftime show reminded me of your impression of the Smig guy who couldn't speak English.
Yeah, very good.
Cisco Chico sent $20. Yo, Nick, when do I gotta stop hiding my mom from ICE? I'm glad we went right and not left. Love you, America.
Oh, she's good to go. They stopped deporting people.
Joshua
She's
sent
safe.
$25. What are your thoughts on James Fishman?
I
I
like
could be your grandma sent $25. Hello there, Mr. You could be my grandson. As a boomer, I really enjoyed your take on the Super Bowl and where this movement is headed. I agree with the need to regroup.
Thank you. Well, hey, somebody gets it.
Alcina Stacks 88 sent $100.
Somebody.
Emperor Fuentes.
Thank you
Salutation
for the
emoji.
big super chat. Yeah, nobody gets me. Nobody understands me. Everybody's mad. Everybody crashing out at me all the time. You don't like Oliver Anthony. You want to murder wife Jack. You said you want to marry an OnlyFans girl. You don't think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. You like the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm literally being crucified for liking the halftime show. You guys are shackle thinkers. You guys are shackle thinkers. Slavery is a choice.
Steele sent $50. Excellent take on the Super Bowl halftime show. I thought it was cool. It showed community, marriage, and vibrancy in culture.
Okay.
I only thought it was in a place because we're Rican aren't in the NFL. It would have been more appropriate if you performed in a World Series, PR play baseball, or World Cup show.
Now
was
you're
worldwide.
ruining it. You're
Whatever, so
ruining my
$100.
take.
It was a fun Kamala word salad with cortisol dressing to say a Latin halftime show celebrating their culture is fine because the American Super Bowl doesn't really matter. The country is 25% Latin anyway. Kid Rock sucks, and Matt Walsh complained about it, so you should definitely have the opposite take.
Went right over your head. Thank you for the big super chat. I love when you just pretend not to know what we're talking about. Okay, all right, that's our last super chat. That's gonna do it for me. Wow, what a crazy! It's just the whole thing's getting too chud-like for me. I just can't